All right, welcome back, everyone. Hope you're doing well. So, I'm back in this spot that I've been sort of exploring this spring, and just trying to get a lay of the land and figure out the terrain. And I don't know. I've climbed up to some ridiculously steep, bouldery garbage that I'm sure deer run around in here, but it's getting a little bit dangerous for me. So I actually just found an antler, and I can't believe it. Just when I was mumbling that there's no way I'm going to find a shed up here. So I'll turn it around and I'll show you exactly what I saw. So I was just walking along this edge, and it's just nasty in here. It's super steep and bouldery and hot and dry. And although it's got big fir trees, it just doesn't seem like a whole lot of good places for a deer to bed or anything. But it is on the south-facing slope, and it's getting steeper and cliffier and gnarlier the higher I get. So I was sort of just giving up on myself a bit and just mumbling under my breath that I'm never going to find a shed over here. I started walking this way, looking for a place to sit down and eat my lunch. And right there's an old shed. But you know what? That's a pretty big shed, actually, for what's left of it. So I'll do a pickup. All right. She's old. But you know what? That's a big buck back in the day. I'm scared to move that, it's going to break. That's a big deer shed. Ancient. But man, you got to think this thing is how many years old? Lots, like, I don't know, a decade more maybe. Just as chalk can be, but that's a heavy antler. And the interesting part about all this, that's 5 sheds I've picked up in this spot. I'm just learning this spot. Picked it this winter and just started hiking it and exploring it. And picked up 5 sheds, and none of them have been small. There's no little forkies or spikes or anything like that laying around. It's like everything I've picked up's been at least a 4-point, and that one that was chewed down to nothing. It was only like, this part of the shed, but it was about this size too. Like, it wasn't real thin or small. So that's awesome. Because I'm not only shed hunting this place for sheds, I'm exploring this place for a new hunting zone. And right now, I'm finding fresh sheds, brown sheds. I'm finding hard whites, a year-old sheds. And I'm finding really old sheds too, and they're all pretty big. So I'm not saying someone's shed hunting this spot, but like, this is, if you were walking this area and exploring, you'd notice that, I would think. So my point is, there just doesn't seem to be a lot of people up here hunting, at least exactly where I am, because I'm finding these antlers, and I don't think there's a lot of deer. I'm not seeing heavy game trails. I'm not finding tons of sign, but every now and again there'll be a nice little spot like this. It makes sense now why this antler is here. This big tree right here. I'm on a big bench, and south facing, and I bet you he was just bedding right under this giant fir tree, just surrounded by all this cliffy, rocky nonsense. So that's really encouraging. And the snow finally melted up here, so I can get up here and walk around. But man, that's a good antler. That's just too bad it's so old as it is. But yeah, confidence is pretty high for this zone now. I just got to keep hiking it and learning it and trying to figure out what the deer are doing in here during hunting season, where they're hanging out. All right, well, here we go. So I'm just gridding out this area, starting to hit snow again, so I can't go too high. But I'm starting to grid out where I can, and I just glanced down to my right, and I used my binoculars to verify it. And yeah, it's another antler. Crazy. It's pretty old and chewed, if I had to guess, but it's a good sign, and let's walk down and have a look at it. So just walking up here to go check these beds that I can see. and I glance to my right. Right in the middle of the screen. Again, looks pretty old if I had to guess, but I'll take it. Oh yeah. Old and destroyed. But again, not a tiny antler. Cool part. So yeah, all these antlers are pretty good size. And it definitely seems like I found a little pocket where they're shedding. All those other sheds I was picking up before, I found just below here. So I kind of just tried to stay in that vein and go higher now that the snow's melted. And now I'm picking them up. I would just love to find one of these guys brown. That last one I picked up was an absolute tank of a blacktail buck, and I would love to find him fresh and brown. But this guy was probably a 4.2 if I had to guess. Hard to say, but he's not small. So this is just how it all goes, right? You pick a spot, throw your dart at the map, say this is where I think there's going to be some deer and some sheds, and you just get in there and you start hiking, right? Go as high as you can, as far as the snow will allow you to go the day you go up, and scour it, see if you can find anything. If you can find a shed or two, that's awesome. That tells you they're there and they are shedding. And then yeah, keep going back as that snow melts. Get back in there, go higher, go further, spend more time just, detailing it, like doing your zigzags and your loops, and just check all the little pockets in the beds. So that's two pretty good old antlers I just found in about 10 minutes. And I hit the snow line again, so I can't go any higher, but I've got tons of terrain I can go back and forth on for the rest of the day. And you can bet I'll be back up here because it seems like the average antler is pretty good. So I know there's browns. I already found a brown up here this year, and they've got to be somewhere. So I'm going to keep scouring, and hopefully I can get into them again. Dude, wow. So I'm almost back to exactly where I found that brown like a month and a half ago. I've scoured this area trying to find that other side of that brown and zigzagged, and man, I've hit it at least half a dozen times. And I'm just about to drop down into that exact spot. And I decided to look to my left, and I saw immediately, I was like, whoa, that's a big antler. So I put binos on it, and it's definitely a big antler, but it's super old and chewed, which kind of sucks, but very cool that I can still find sheds up here. Crazy. Man, looks like a big one from here. It's chewed up though, kills me. Let's go check it out. All right. Dude, that's a good antler again. I can't find any browns. Whoa, that's a good one. Old though. Crazy. Man, that's a heartbreaker. Old, but man, there's some big antlers in here, which means big deer. Just so old. Why can't I find any browns? I'm right above where I found that brown earlier in the season, so I mean, if I can miss this one, guess I can miss those ones. What? Heavy antlers in here, man. I'm liking that. All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome back. I'm back on that same mountain I was on in my last video. I just couldn't stop thinking about trying to match up that big brown 4-point, and I checked my trail cameras, and I don't know if they're living here, but there was definitely some really nice big bucks passing through, so I'm just gonna keep beating the bush and just see what I can turn up. And I kind of hurt my knee snowboarding a couple days ago, so common sense dictates that I should probably be climbing steep mountains today. It doesn't really hurt, but we'll see. I think possibly my knee might get sore before the day's done, but we will see how that goes. Anyways, just trying to cut a new line that I didn't walk last time I was here, and sure enough, I just walked up on a super old antler, but it looks actually like it was really big at one time, so that's interesting. Just another one I missed, and I can only imagine how many browns I'm missing around here, and you just got to get super lucky to walk up on them. So I'm not going to set up a camera just because this thing's ancient, but it does look pretty big, so I'll do a quick pickup and we will continue on. Yeah, just walking straight through here. Notice to my left. Wow, that is old, but that was big at one time. Crazy. Oh yeah, it was. That's... how did that work? Just a giant 2-point maybe? No, it could have been a 3-point. Forks on the back. But yeah, that is ancient dirt, but big. I mean, obviously, pick it up fresh, that'd be amazing. Yeah, keep pushing on. All right, well, I needed that. I was definitely getting a bit frustrated and no idea why I can't find any other antlers or match up any of the ones I've already picked up in here, but I just decided to backtrack one of the game trails all the way to just see if maybe one of the big ones maybe dropped an antler on the way out of this area, but didn't find a big one, but I found at least a brown, so I'll turn it around and show you. Yeah, no secrets here, just following the game trail. Popped up between the two trees, trail takes a right, and what do you know? Oh, this one really is a little 2-point. It's a brownie. Better than nothing, but at least it shows me I'm on the right track. I mean, it'd be nice to get lucky and pick up a hammer. But we'll just keep walking and keep hiking, and eventually something's gonna work out. I'll do a pickup for this because who knows what else, if anything, I might find today. All right, well, something. Little brown 2-point, little forking horn. Super fresh from this year, right in the middle of the trail. So yeah, it gives me hope that maybe I'm going to find something else up here on the trail. We're in a bed, but better than nothing, and we will take it. So just keep moving. Well, this is a pretty hot zone for deer sign anyways. There's a bed right there. Bit of a faint trail that comes this way. And then just over here, there's a fresh kill. Looks like a doe maybe. Pretty fresh actually. Kind of gross. And I can't see any signs of what did it, but interesting nonetheless. Then you come this way, and I just saw this through the trees. Yeah, look at that. That's a super big fresh rub. So yeah, promising little pocket. Let's see if we can find some big antlers. Well, I've said it before, say it again. It's amazing how many I probably walk by. But I was just dropping down low, and just thinking none of this really looks right. And I stopped for whatever reason. And I glanced to my right, and I see 3 tines sticking up. Looks maybe brown, not entirely sure, but let's go have a closer look. Man, the mosquitoes are bad today. Ugh. Ugh. But I was just straight lining down this mountain. This didn't really look particularly good. So I just stopped, and for whatever reason, I forget what I was doing, but just before I took my first step to keep going, I looked to my right and immediately picked out these tines. I have no idea if it's this year's, last year's, or what it is, but a little bit hard to see, but it's right there. So let's take a walk up to it, see what it is. Good news is it doesn't seem terribly chewed. Maybe it's last year's. Doesn't look chewed at all. But yeah, that's last year's shed. It was a 3-point. Huh. Right on. I'll take it. So it's probably got some color on the backside, but I'll do a pickup. Look at that dirty son of a gun. Get off me, I hate you. Whoa, I got the heebie-jeebies now. That was a big tick. I didn't like that. Ugh, I usually don't get them in this type of terrain, but glad I noticed them. Anyways, yep, hard white 3-point from last year. No chews on it, so that's always nice. Bit of color on the back, dirty button. Yeah, I'll take it. Let's keep going. Well, here we are back at the truck. That's what we got today. Not as exciting as I was hoping for, but at least it didn't get skunked. This is my good deed. A bunch of beer cans and garbage. This first one I picked up, I knew there's something sort of off about it, and my brain wasn't working so well this morning, but finally clicked in that this is actually a little bull moose antler. Yeah, that's not a deer antler. It's interesting though. I have seen a moose sign in the area, so it would make sense that they're here. But this is good for nothing, so bite. And then we got fresh brown little 2-point. Better than nothing. And a hard white 3-point from last year. The tick shed. Wasn't happy about that. Anywho, I gotta go back to work for one more day and then I got the weekend off. And yeah, I got a few places in mind that I'd like to hit now that the snow's melting off a bit more. So yeah, we'll see you then. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you are doing well. So it's a new day and I'm in a brand new spot. I've never been here before, which is surprising, blows my mind. It looks friggin' good. And there's no reason to think that there wouldn't be some good deer action in here in the fall. And you know, it's been on my list for a couple years and I've just never gotten around to coming in. So I've got a weekend with no plans. So here I am, I'm checking it out. I'm just gonna look for game trails, beds, droppings, rubs, ideally antlers. I have no idea what's going on in here. So it's pretty buggy right now down low and it's not even the hottest part of the day. So it might be a gross mosquito infested day, but we will find out. So stay tuned and let's see what I can find up there. So look at that. I've already found a faint game trail leading off the main trail. So that's promising. I'm going to head up that way and we will see if this leads me to anything good. Oh my. So it didn't take long to get onto a ridge, and I'll tell you what, it looks really good in here. I barely even got into this zone. So I'm pretty excited. I hope this goes on for quite a ways. It's not just a little teeny tiny pocket, but who knows if I can find some good sign in here. Maybe I'll be leaving a trail camera. So interestingly enough, I'm not really seeing any deer sign, except for, I'm pretty sure that's some ancient deer droppings from a long time ago. But other than that, the stuff looks really good. So I'm just gonna stick with it and keep hiking through and looking. Okay, so positive development. Just kept cutting across, and this is definitely a game trail. So I'm gonna hop on that and I'm gonna follow that as long as it lets me. So yeah, this is all looking real good. I'm not really that high up the mountain, but that's the stuff I'm looking for sheds and beds. Just big, steep, rocky stuff with those big fir trees. And there's a lot of it up here. Seems that way anyway, so just keep going. Dude, I must be getting good at this or something. But I just filmed that little video about looking up into those cliffy bluffs. I took about 10 steps. And there's a decent shed sitting right in front of me. It's chewed on as usual. But that's awesome. New spot, good sized shed. And yeah, I've just started the day. And oh, that's so cool. I love it when it works out. So I was actually just filming those trees up there. And I almost went up and over. And I was like, nope, You see that bench down there? There's still really no droppings, no sign, no nothing, hardly any game trails. And I'm like, I'm just gonna go underneath these big trees. I came right up here, and right there. It's a pretty good shed. It's old. That's awesome. So cool that I can pick a spot on a map and start producing sheds. I've never been here, no idea what elevation anything's gonna be at, but this is an awesome start to the day. All right, look at that. She's old, definitely a chalker, but that's a decently heavy 4-point blacktail buck. So cool. I would love to find one of these brown. I'm not gonna lie, but I wasn't even sure if the deer were wintering here, and there's proof right there. They are, and man, it looks good in here. So like I said, I'm not terribly high up the mountain. There's plenty of mountain to climb, so maybe I can get into some other zones here today. But man, the mosquitoes are bad. Ugh. God, it's terrible. It's not even like midday yet, and it's just, I don't know, it's terrible. I gotta put some bug spray on, I think. But that's incredibly encouraging. Old, nice big eye guard. It's definitely a decently heavy 4-point. So that's great. I would love to find a brown one. It's been a minute since I found a big brown shed. Lots of old ones, unfortunately, but I'll take them. It's better than getting skunked. All right, well, it's a pretty sad effort for a shed hunting day on my part, but I don't know, man. I'm just tired. I'm worn out. Not really feeling it, even though I found a shed and I really like this new spot. But yeah, I might just call it for the day, and then I will definitely be back here without a doubt, because this is a huge area, and I've literally just, searched a drop in a bucket. So I could come back here all summer and keep hiking new terrain and keep trying to dial it in. But yeah, it is interesting. There's no droppings, no rubs yet, just one antler and a really faint game trail. So I don't know what that tells me. I mean, at least I know the deer are here, so the potential is here, and I'll be back. But I think I'm gonna call it for today. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Welcome back. So it's a new day. I'm in a familiar spot, but I forced myself to go quite a bit steeper and deeper, and I'm a little bit worried about getting out of here. Having said that, just walking this band of perfect bedding bluffs, and looked up in front of me, and there's a perfect bed, pile of bear poop in it, and I walked up to the bed and glanced to my right, and there's an old antler sitting right there. So there's some really nice beds in this area. It just keeps going. So again, it's not fresh, it's old, but it's not tiny either. So it's good. Gives me hopes that this spot holds some pretty good sized bucks. So I'll show you what I saw. So just walk along this set of bluffs, look down, perfect bed under a giant old growth tree. Notice some bear crap. Stood up, started scanning around. There's an antler sitting right there. Again, not fresh, but story of my life this season. There's got to be browns here somewhere. All right. Well, I was contemplating even doing a pickup for this antler. It's pretty old. It's not really giant, but pickings have been slim lately, and they might be even slimmer today. So not bad. Certainly not a big old mature buck. Pretty small bases, pretty slender antler, but still not a little spike or a fork, so that's good. Keep going. All right, so I think I'm gonna pull the plug for today. It's just too hot. It's supposed to go up to 30 degrees, and that's a no-go for me. I don't do well in the hot weather. But I just want to thank everyone for tagging along for my shed season, at least for the majority of it in the spring. Maybe I'll get out again for a couple shed hunts, but when it gets this hot, I really just, it's not fun beating through the bush. It's just too hot and buggy and gross. So probably won't do too many more dedicated shed hunts. And that'll be it. Do some summer activities, and then we'll get after it in the fall with hunting. So thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you guys enjoy it, just like and subscribe. And if not, that's all good too. But take care, and we'll catch you next time.